And I'll wait till it says that we're live so I can be sure.
I think it
It is. Hello. Hello, everyone.
Oh,
Well, is it? I'm like waiting. I
yeah.
should have done the
I
countdown,
think
but
it's
I didn't.
live. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Diversity is Lit Book Club. We are so happy to have you here for another book club discussion. Um, if you don't know what Diversity is Lit is, we are a book club that reads one book by a BIPOC author every month and discuss it on my YouTube channel. So if you stumbled upon here, welcome. Please join us. And if you're part of our Goodreads group, that's where we get to vote on our books. And this was the book club pick for September. I don't have the book to hold up. So if
Okay.
anyone else does, I usually do. But I listened to the audiobook. Oh, it's so beautiful. And we've got our like purple and pink colors.
Yay.
Really exciting. Um, Hi, cool gamer. Hello, hello. Yes, if you are in the comments, please say hi. We are so happy to have you here. Feel free to join in the discussion with us. We also usually have some lurkers, so feel free to lurk and listen as well. um, uh, Now, really quickly before we introduce ourselves, I do want to say that for our discussion, we will be talking spoilers. So if you are okay with spoilers for Wildseed Witch, then keep watching. If you would like to read it and then watch the discussion, you can do that too. And then just a quick, let's see here. Our, oh shoot, I thought I had it over here. The content warnings for Wildseed Witch. It's a middle grade contemporary fantasy, so thankfully it's pretty mild, but there is online bullying, themes of privilege and morality are explored. I guess it could add, that was what we had before we started, but I could add divorce. If there's any other ones you guys have thought of, because I know Vanessa has found some before where she's like, and add this. And I'm like, so anyways, with those disclaimers out of the way, if you don't know me, my name is Holly. I am a kidlit writer. I'm currently querying a YA fantasy, and I am working on prepping for NaNoWriMo and like doing research on middle grade contemporary, but it might be a middle grade contemporary fantasy. So we'll see. But so I've been reading a lot of middle grade. So I'm really glad that we read Wildseed Witch, and I've just been consuming a lot of middle grade to kind of get into the middle grade voice. So that is me. Teresa, you want to go next?
Sure. Hello, everyone. I'm Teresa Beasley. I write under the pen name T.A. Beasley, and I write thrillers. Um, well, yeah, I'll just say thrillers. Um, I was confused if it was thriller or mystery, but most thrillers have a little bit of mystery to them, so I'll just say thriller, Arthur. I'm also a book reviewer and podcaster. And if you want to connect with me on the socials, I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Arthur T.A. Beasley. And I'm really interested in the discussion for the book this month.
And I am Vanessa. I go by Vanessa Read Books on all my platforms. I'm a YA fantasy, paranormal, and horror writer and book publisher. Um, and yeah, excited to talk about this book this month.
And then we have two co-hosts who aren't here right now. One will be popping into the comments, and the other one will be popping in a little bit later. So let's see. Oh, I forgot to pull up my discussion questions, but I should have it memorized by now after 2 years. Which really, and I feel like the best discussions are when we don't necessarily follow like this and this, that we kind of just like let it flow organically. So
Right.
so yeah, the first question is just like your general overall thoughts on the book. So on Goodreads, I gave this a 4 out of 5. It would probably be more like a 3.75. I hate that Goodreads still doesn't have like the half stars, but it is what it is. So, like I said, because I've been reading a lot of middle grade lately, and over the summer I was reading a lot of middle grade. Like I have a very high bar for my middle grade books, especially fantasy, because I've read some that I've just adored and just have like stolen my heart. So, I was definitely going into Wildseed Witch with like an open mind and everything, but it was hard for me not to compare it to some of the other books that I've read and enjoyed. Like I think we read in, or I think it was August 2020, we read Tristan Strong, but Tristan Strong, Amari and the Night Brothers, Skyborn by Jessica Corey, and just lots of middle grade fantasies. And so I felt like there was like I couldn't quite put my finger on like exactly what was missing from it to like bump it up to like a solid 4 and even a 5 like I have given the other middle grade fantasies. Just something didn't quite connect with me, but I really did love just the blend of like the Creole aspects and the magic. I loved like, and the whole concept of it. Like I felt like it was Harry Potter, but like how it should be now with like an all BIPOC cast and told from the lens of Black girl, Black girl magic. So I really appreciated that. And there's a cat in it, so you got me sold on the cat. But I was like, yes, there's a cat. So I know we'll get into more details about it, but yeah. So overall, I did enjoy it. It just wasn't like one of my top reads of the year. And whoever wants to go next can go.
I can go next. I'm about where you are, Holly. I gave it like a 3.5, and it's probably because, well, it was a little bit of a relief for me because I've been reading a lot of thrillers, domestic psychological thrillers, studying them plus reading them for pleasure. So it was kind of a light read for me, but I would say I'm about the 3.5 range on it. I mean, it didn't wow me, but like I did like the magic in it. It did have like a little bit of bullying in there and the divorce stuff, but overall, I think it's a good story. I really did enjoy the story. In how she really took to her Wildseed side in the story, but it wasn't anything that just overwhelmed me or made me. It's kind of hard to pick, like you said, it's kind of hard to pick what I thought was missing in it, but I still enjoyed the story. I still liked it.
For me, I am sitting at the same as you guys. I gave it a 3.5 stars. I actually know what was missing for me, and it is more to do with my expectations going into this book. This book, I will say, is a low stakes book, so don't expect high stakes in it. And I think that was what I was expecting, high stakes, like Amari and the Night Brothers or Tristan Strong. And that's not what we got. We got one that was more low stakes, more to do with family issues and resolving that conflict and bullying and stuff, which is fine, and I still enjoyed it. But I think the expectation is what brought me down on the rating. Expecting a high stakes book. So, but I did really enjoy the story. I thought it was a really good beginning start of the book, it really drew me in. And I read like the first 100 pages or so pretty quickly. But then I felt like the middle started to drag a little bit. And that's also what brought it down for me. Um, but then I also really enjoyed the Creole language in here. And I love that she incorporated that aspect. When I first came across some of the Creole words and phrases in here, I was like, oh, I actually know some of this. I was excited about that. Obviously, this is they're in Louisiana, New Orleans. So it's Louisiana Creole, which is not the same as Haitian Creole.
Mm.
They have some words that are similar. So like one of the phrases, I was like, I know what half of that means.
That's so cool. I didn't realize that. Sorry, that usually it's Zuko who's here, but Oliver is trying to steal the show. He heard me say cat and was like, "Yeah, I'm the cat."
I do agree with you, Vanessa, that I think it was the action part of the book. Like, because with the other books we've read, there's been a lot of adventure action part of it. And like you said, this was low stakes. So the action wasn't fully there. The anticipation of the action wasn't fully there.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you came to that realization, because maybe that's what it was for me too. Maybe it was leaning more on the contemporary side of the contemporary fantasy, because there were so many aspects of the bullying, and she's, working on her YouTube channel, and the whole, divorce, trying to, sort out her feelings with that. So, oh, sorry, someone just like hit me in the eye. It's probably a hair, random hair. So, maybe that's what took away some aspects of like the magic and being able to delve into that a little bit more. I did read some reviews where people were just wanting more of that magic, and they, so maybe that's why it was too much to pack into the book.
Yeah.
It could have been.
I think I would kind of describe this as kind of like Mean Girls, but with some elements of magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true.
I will agree.
And the interesting thing is, so right before this, I hopped onto Goodreads, and they already have the sequel up for pre-order, which is like, I was like, wow, that's fast. But it's
fast.
Yeah, expected May 2nd, 2023. And it sounds like Hassani's going back back home to go back to school for 8th grade, because she left during the summer after finishing 7th grade. And then LaToya, fellow witch, is gonna come there. And so I just thought that was interesting, that it's like, hey, the first book she was at the Mademoiselle. Yeah, I forget the school. What the whole thing's about. La Belle Demoiselle.
Yeah.
And then I wish I knew French. Yeah. And then going back to her middle school. So that kind of interested me and made me realize that she kind of is more diving into the contemporary part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I think will be interesting. I mean, and maybe that's just what confused everyone, because that's what drew me into the story. I was like, ooh, this magic school. I'm here for the magic. And so I guess I maybe wanted more of that, and maybe we'll get more of that in future books, and her developing, because she was trying to come into her own with her magic and
Mm-hmm.
feeling like such an outcast as a Wildseed witch, where everyone's like these high socialites and their family lineage, um and then Hassani just coming in and taking one of the girls' spots, and so yeah. But I do know, like, from researching middle grade, uh since I'm going to be writing that next, like they were saying, like, oh yeah, don't start with them at school with the and introduce the bully and then the best friend. This is kind of like a trope and stuff. So I know that, like, the bullying theme is very important, but it also is, I mean, it's school, so it's normal for it to be a common thing. Like, it was in that in Witchlings, but then it was kind of turned on its head, where yes, there's this bullying theme, but she actually wasn't being a bully. There were these misunderstandings, and she was trying to help. So she kind of, Claribel Ortega kind of flipped it on its head there, whereas this was just like, no, it's just Mean Girls.
Yeah, they were mean.
Yeah.
Whereas Witchling, it was just a miscommunication.
Yeah.
It was just a misunderstanding of communication. But in this one, yeah, they're just bullies. They're just mean.
Which I think for one of them, Angelique, it was a miscommunication thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the other ones, I'm just like, LaToya, especially, I'm just like,
she shocked me.
I know.
She was the one that shocked me. I was not thinking that she was gonna, turn out like that.
Me too.
She threw me off. But Celeste, I mean, I understand why Celeste was upset and mad, because she did take her twin sister spot. But LaToya just threw me off. I cannot believe when I got to, I was like, whoa, I didn't think she would have.
I did not. There was a moment, I marked it in page 205, where I was like, yeah, I don't trust LaToya. I kind of had kind of iffy vibes about it, and then, like, when Dee said she never told LaToya about moving to New Orleans after I played for the art school, the NOLA program. She said she never told her about that. And then I was like, so how did she know? And then I was like, I feel like something bigger is gonna happen with LaToya. Like, and this might also be the other thing that kind of disappointed me, was kind of a downside, because after this scene, the way it seemed, I thought they were going to play up LaToya to be the big bad, and, like, I mean, she was sort of, she's an antagonist, but it was more Mean Girl style, not like evil villain type of situation. And I thought she was going to be, like, more of the evil villain type of situation.
I thought it was going to be Celeste.
Celeste, yeah.
Yeah. I thought she was going to be the evil villain.
And that's
I thought she was part of it, but I thought after that part with LaToya, not having information she wasn't supposed to know.
Supposed to. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and maybe that's where it, like the flipping and you don't have to flip, like, every, like, trope or plot point on its head, to be like a twist or something unexpected, but maybe something along those lines would have helped it, because that would have kind of, raised the tension, and not necessarily the stakes, but just kind of raised things a little bit, and, like, maybe could have helped with the pacing, because, like, oh my gosh, like, that was unexpected, I wonder what else I'm not going to expect to happen. So yeah, that's interesting.
Speaking of unexpected things, what did you guys think about as Sandy, and when she thought that Sandy might be a witch.
See,
Yeah.
I kept thinking that. I was like, I don't think her dad really wants to be with Sandy. I think Sandy might be a witch, and she's just like putting some magic on him and making him want to be with her just so she could disrupt their family. I always thought she was a witch.
I didn't think she was a witch, so
It was kind of hard to tell because at first I didn't think she was a witch, but then like when Hassani was putting all the different clues together and figuring out that she was a witch, I was like, oh, okay, maybe I can kind of see that being a possibility. But then when we found out that Hassani has kind of unknowingly been influencing her parents' feelings, then I was like, okay, now I'm not sure. Is she a witch? Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked that.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Holly.
Oh, I was just gonna say I liked that aspect with the social media. Like she's like stalking her social media. It's like, who is this? How many followers? Like, where is she getting all these likes and stuff? Like so. So yeah, I kind of like that. What were you gonna say, Teresa?
I was just gonna say that Sandy. I kind of start worrying about Sandy when she first went to the house when her dad had picked her up. And that's when you first see that when she's leaving and he takes her back home that her magic is starting because I guess she was so angry. But when she went to visit them, I was thinking some of the stuff that Sandy was saying and interacting with her about, I was like, I don't know. There's something up with Sandy. I don't know if I'm going to like her. I don't think I'm going to like her in this book. But yeah, I started thinking it then. I put a question mark. Is Sandy a possible witch?
Well, I think since we're seeing it from Hassani's point of view, I don't think we were ever meant to like Sandy.
Yeah.
To me, in the beginning, it just seemed like, oh, her dad fell for this younger girl, and he is really into her now. And it just seemed like, the whole dad wanting to be with the younger woman, more vibrant, whatever situation, and Hassani didn't really get that because all she could see is her parents and wanting to have her parents back together.
Yeah, I think she wanted to keep them together. But poor step parents, they get a bad rap.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about that. I'm like, my book, the Celestial Code, has like this verbally abusive stepdad, and like that's, I'm taking that from my experience. So it's like my step parent experience is bad, but it's not everyone's experience. But I know that's always a thing they're wanting step parents to be portrayed in a better light because they're always seen as like this evil villain. But I didn't think about that like we're getting what we know about Sandy through Hassani's lens. Yeah, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Gosh, I lost my train of thought.
It's funny you said that about your step parent character in your story. In my story, one of my main characters has a step parent, but it's a good step parent. They have a great relationship.
Oh, good! Yay!
I gotta flip it on its head.
Yeah.
Good on you, Vanessa.
Because I'm telling you, step parents just get a bad rap, even though they try. They still get a bad rap. But I'm like you, Holly. My step parent experience was not that great. So.
Yeah, so it's like I feel like that is still some like a relatable like thing for kids, but I think there's more of the bad than the good that we see in books. And
Yeah,
since
that's true.
since middle graders are so impressionable, we don't want them to think like, all right, now they're gonna get this evil witch, as a mother.
We don't want them to think that.
I keep like thinking of something and then forgetting it. Oh, but I did like, because like I do have a book idea where, Alicia's here. Yay.
There she is.
Hey, family.
Hey!
Hey, Lee.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. One of our co-hosts is here. We said you'd be hopping on a little bit later. So
Wow.
do you want to introduce yourself? Oh, and Heather said she was going to be in the comments. She's not here, so I don't know. I know she wasn't. She was kind of stressed from work, so I don't know if she'll be hopping in. But anyways, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. So I'm writer Alicia Grumley. I am excited to be here, even late, and I write poetry, some twisted young adult fantasy, like twisted fairy tales, not like twisted in terms of like mentally like twisted fairy tales, and some nonfiction advocacy for mental health. There's lots of things I enjoy writing. Oh, and my newest pursuit is a new adult contemporary. So that's one of the things I've been working on.
Yeah.
Kind of for the last year-ish. So yeah.
Your earrings are awesome, by the
thank
way.
you. Thank you. I went, we had the French Festival downtown Indianapolis today, and that's where I am coming from. That's where I'm coming in hot from. And I was trying to match some colors of the French flag. I had on a red hat, not a beret, but just like a red hat, but said Detroit on it because Detroit's a French word.
Oh, that's so cute. I love it.
Theme. So I figured it was probably better to just show up out of theme than waste more time and not be here. I have plenty of purple. I have my purple drinking cup. How about that?
There you go. Oh, there
Okay.
it is. It looks like you're drinking a purple drink.
Mhm.
A purple drink. Oh,
It does.
It's Ursula.
Oh.
Sandy! It's Sandy! We were just talking about how, a lot of step parents are portrayed as evil. And we were kind of seeing Sandy through Hassani's lens.
Yeah.
So, and how we were trying to decide, figure out, who thought that she was a witch, who didn't. And I, of course, didn't, because I'm like, I am always bad with catching anything, even if it does, whether it happens or not. I'm like, oh, I had no idea.
Yeah. I just kind of thought she was being portrayed like that because Hassani hates her, right? And I was like, oh, there's nothing special here. And then I was reluctant to believe it because I was like, no, that's probably not right. She's probably just looking for trouble where there's not trouble. So that actually didn't feel super believable to me. So I'll be interested to see which way it goes, because there's supposed to be a sequel or a series, right?
Yeah, there's at least a sequel.
Yeah.
It's already on pre-order, so I had looked at it.
It just came out.
Charmed Life, and it's gonna be, it looks like Hassani's going back to her middle school for 8th grade, but LaToya shows up.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what were your thoughts, the general overall thoughts and writing and all of that, Alicia? Because we all are kind of in a general consensus.
I enjoyed it, and it was nice to have something a little bit lighter after last month. This is much lighter. It's middle grade. It is not. I mean, I think we have to qualify last month as adult, if not new adult, but adulty. This was very nice to take a breather from some of those heavier topics. And I liked it. Yeah, I read it really quick, but that could be because it was middle grade, and I often read middle grade a lot quicker than even YA stuff. But I think that's because they're hitting the audience well. So I think it hit the intended audience really well. I remember liking some of the descriptions. I liked, once again, I liked the lighter feel. I liked that it was a I recommended it to a friend, and this friend is kind of in the process of separation, heading toward the divorce. But I recommended it to her for her middle grade daughter. And I did give her the content warning, like, hey, this deals with divorce. Just because I feel like it was very realistic from what I've seen. And just the way that Hassani handled things felt very realistic to me. So all in all, I enjoyed it. I liked that it was a little bit of a lighter read, and I will probably pick up the second one. If even only to give myself my 50 pages. That's kind of how I decide if I'm going to finish something usually, is if I'm not into it by page 50, I'm like, probably not. If I'm like kind of into it by page 50, I'll give myself to page 75. And if I'm still only kind of into it, I'm like, I don't know about this. So I am maybe a rare one in that I DNF if I am doing things, because I have too many books I want to read.
No, I'm the exact same way. And I think like I will read the sequel as well, because like now we know what to expect out of the story. Like we were saying, it kind of leaned more towards the contemporary versus the fantasy. But like now that we kind of know that that's the vibe of it, maybe the sequel, will like grab us even more. And then just wanting to learn more about like the magic and I guess seeing Hassani evolve, because I do think that she had like a really good arc, and she showed really good growth. And there's definitely, if Latoya's going to be at her school, it's like, I've got to see this. Okay, I need to see this.
I wanted to ask Alicia, would this have been one of your DNFs at the 50 or 75 page mark, or would you?
I feel like no. I don't feel like I had that concern, because I also really like flowers, like just in general. So I was kind of like, I want to see how these flowers kind of grow. But I also had already made some like thoughts. So I was like, but like I didn't start making a note until page 79. Like my first note is page 79. So I was pretty invested in it from the get-go, I would think. I think I probably would have finished this one. Nice. But the caveat on that is that I don't normally pick up middle grade on my own. I will definitely pick up YA. So if I had picked it up, I would have finished it, but it would have been, would I have picked it up necessarily? And I don't know if I would have, just like, unless it was in like, because I don't usually go over to like the middle grade section of my library. It's a different section than the YA. Well, so I just don't usually. It's closer to like the elementary stuff, so I don't go over there looking for books to read. But I think this was one of the ones I had put on Holly's radar, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
So this one, it's hard to say all middle grades, but like we read Tristan Strong, and I felt like that was middle grade, and I enjoyed that. And it's not that I don't enjoy them, I think enjoy YA so much that that's where I kind of lean towards. So I think I probably would have finished this one.
This one, I picked it up when I saw it on Barnes & Noble because I love the cover. The cover by. And then when I opened it up and read the synopsis, I was like, "Oh, she's a YouTuber."
Yeah.
I really want to read this.
It's fun how like that's what I am enjoying, though, to see like social media play a part in the books that we've been reading, like with Yamilet and the Instagram. Working on the jewelry shop, and now Hassani and her makeup tutorials, and so it's fun to like see that, because things are like evolving and changing. And even I was I listening to yeah, I think it was the audiobook I was listening to. And it broke my heart, but it was a middle grade, and it was the girl was like, "Oh yeah, you they made like the motion of clicking like they're gonna take a picture like you would
Yeah.
in the olden days or something like that." And then it took me a while to realize that they meant like this, because now you just go like this. So I'm like,
Yeah. But I knew what they meant right away, right? Because I'm on that cusp, right? Like age-wise, I'm on that cusp of like, I came up with technology, but I was getting all of that back end pre-technology stuff, right? Too. So like, I was like, oh yeah, like I knew they meant this way, but then yeah, I was like, oh yeah, like that is an olden days thing. It's like, it's still interesting though, in terms of like, if you said like, hey, I'm going to call someone, you would still do this from when you had the landline, right? And like kids will do that, like they know.
Yeah.
But I mean, how many kids today even know what a landline looks like, right? Like, I mean, most of the time you're going to call someone, you'd be like, I'm going to call someone, but that's the instinct is still like this. I think I've seen kids do it. So. Yeah, but like, I think it's instinctual. I don't think kids are like, I'm going to call someone. I think it's like the instinct is to like make that emotion.
Good.
So, can I talk about something I did predict though in the story? Per shocking usual.
Of course. What did you predict?
Only 100 pages before the reveal. I knew that Dee was Miss LaRose's daughter.
Oh my gosh! Of course.
The way she was described talking about her, but also like on my note, it was like her name is Demi Rose, like half a rose, like La Rose. I just.
Of course, no surprises there. I didn't catch that.
I was like waiting for it the whole time. I'm like, oh my gosh, how long is this gonna take?
It makes sense. I didn't catch on because I wasn't really paying attention with the part of the names. But after she was like, "Oh, Demi Rose," it's like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense."
Right. But yeah, like, but even Hassani like was like, "What?" Like, which I felt so realistic of how middle schoolers can be, right? Like, you're sure about that? Like, oh yeah, you're going to visit. You're going to your own apartment with the teacher. Oh yeah, got there. So that was the one that I was like, as soon as she started, like, as soon as we saw that scene of like Miss LaRose like frustrated, like, and Hassani was describing it. She's like, the only time she seemed frustrated is when she was talking to Dee. I was like, because it's her kid. So Heather, when you touch the replay on this, let us know if you picked up on that.
Yeah, I finally texted Heather because I was like, oh yeah, I should text her, make sure she's okay. And she said she passed out in the car. She needed the nap, so she's gonna have to catch the replay. So hearts to her.
Yeah. So Heather, let us know about that.
Holly, I had a question. Since you listened to the audiobook, did you have the physical one as well, or just the audio?
Just the audiobook.
So I was wondering if, kind of towards the end, if it started getting a little bit confusing, because I noticed I did the audio and the physical, and I noticed when I was listening to the audio towards the end, it started skipping some parts, and I was like,
oh.
So I had to like pause it and just read it physically without the audio, because it would skip whole chunks.
Really?
I don't know if it was just my version or something, because I listened to it on the Scribd app. So I don't know if maybe there was just something with that version, or
no, I listened to it on Scribd too.
Oh. So maybe it's like a corrupted file or something. That's weird.
File or something. Yeah.
Because I've never had that issue with Scribd.
I haven't had it before, but I noticed this time when I was reading, I would like it would read a sentence and then just jump ahead, and I'm like, wait, where are we? What?
How far ahead would it jump?
That's the thing that was confusing me.
You couldn't find it.
Yeah,
I couldn't find where it jumped to, so I just finished up the chapter physically, and then tried to find my place at the beginning of the next chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, the file was weird because, like, I would click on chapter 24 is what I was on, and it would start reading at chapter 26. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, thankfully
Yeah,
mine was okay.
Okay.
But
yeah, I don't know. Mine was weird, being weird.
Yeah. Well, at least you were listening to or you were reading the book at the same time, so you could like realize it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you were able to probably find it on the book, at least somewhere, like eventually you can get to where you were. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of times, like the chapter, like if it says like chapter 25, sometimes that's chapter 24, like in the physical, but it's usually like either one before or one after. Because like sometimes I'll try to find it and I'm like, oh no, I'm actually a chapter ahead or a chapter behind. So I wish it were synced perfectly that way to make it easier to like switch between the two, but
I agree
they
with
haven't
that.
figured that out yet.
Have you guys
done their little intro? They'll have like a little like 20-second intro or something about like who the narrator is, or you know, a little musical like intro or something. But then so that's their chapter 1, whatever.
Yeah.
Have you ladies done quotes yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. I was gonna say
not there yet.
No, let's we could do quotes. Let's do that. I totally
I was gonna throw one in, but
I was like cloaks, what?
We're not going to Hogwarts, Holly.
I know. I literally said, I was like, this is Harry Potter for like, you know, black girl magic, and I'm here for it. So
cute.
Let's do quotes. Let's do it. I'm here.
I don't think I have it.
So one of them is what I was saying with the Creole. So on page 71, when she's trying to grow her hair, and it says "Ani mupelili cheveux pousser vite la nuit." She's like, I can't read French. I said, it's Creole. Latoya corrected. Just repeat after me. She must have corrected me 9 times before it was good. Saint Henri, mon préféré, cheveux pousser vite la nuit. And so that was the part that I said. That was the first phrase they had in Creole, where I was like, oh, I know the second half of this means hair grow fast tonight.
Yes. Because you have a background in French, Vanessa, is that correct?
Creole, yeah.
You have a background in Creole, okay.
Creole.
Nice.
You spoke so eloquently. I'm like, oh.
I know. Wow.
Yes. And is that your family, Vanessa? Your parents?
Yeah.
Or your grandparents?
Yeah, we're Haitian. So the Creole is the Haitian Creole is a bit different than Louisiana Creole. Which is why I didn't get everything, but I got like half of it.
I feel like I can do that sometimes with romance languages, like, because I know not significant, but like I could get myself around in a Spanish speaking country, right? And like, so like I kind of was picking up some of the French part of the Creole because it's a romance language, right? It shares that same Latin root base and like all of that. So like it was, like as I was reading it, I don't think I would have got it if I had heard it pronounced, but because I don't have a French speaking skill set, right? I can kind of read it a little bit, ish, right? Like I could probably figure it out. So like that was cool that like the Creole at least was represented a little bit, because I feel like I don't know any other books that have Creole language represented in it, and that just could be ones I haven't read. But and it's interesting too that Haitian and Louisiana are a little bit different. Is one of them more French heavy? Is Louisiana more French heavy? Do you know what the difference is?
I'm not sure if it's more French heavy. I know Louisiana Creole is a dialect with it has French, but it has other African languages in it, mixed in it as well. Whereas Haitian Creole is French based, but has Spanish and Portuguese words mixed in, because that's the language of the islands around us.
Awesome.
Uh-oh, you're breaking up a little bit, Alicia.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Now we hear you. Yeah, you're okay now.
Okay.
Now we hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I was just saying it made sense with the languages, like the geographic region where Haiti is. Now that's interesting.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you're breaking up again.
Breaking up again.
Can you see me now?
Kind of.
It's still delayed a little bit.
Maybe, but
It might be raining.
Stupid rain.
No.
Well, it's just like give it like a second and it'll like resync really quick. I just wanted to say hi to Nia. Hi, Nia.
Hello.
I'm fellow middle grade lover. We'll be listening to the discussion while I multitask. That's the best way to do it. We love that. Thanks for coming. Okay, Alicia, want to do take 2?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll give my quote real quick then, while we can see it. It's so I had a couple, but the one that I think I really want to talk about is on 214, and it's kind of in the middle of the page. And it's real simple, but it's very powerful. And it's, after all, behind every great woman, there's a group of great women. Fellow demoiselles support each other, which includes supporting a fellow demoiselle anonymity if she wants it, and certainly does not include throwing another under the bus, as you just tried to do. But I just like that behind every great woman is another group of great women, and I just feel like that's so true, and I'm so lucky that that's true in my life. But like that's the kind of friendships I want to have in my life. That's kind of, like, there's room for everybody, but I just really liked that, and I thought that was a really important thing to say for a story aimed at a middle grade audience, where so much of that catty, backstabbing girl, mean girl mentality starts, right? It takes root in middle school. And I think just to like have books like this that say, no. Like, you are a great woman because you have great women supporting you. Like, that is huge, and like that's what I want to see, and that's what I want girls to know and learn. And because like I'm so grateful for all of my female friendships. Like I have just great, incredible female friendships, and none of them are like, I always feel like my name is safe in their mouths, whether I'm at the table or not. Right. And that's what I want for everybody. Like I want everybody here to know their name is safe in my mouth, and I want my name to be safe in everybody else's mouth that I keep in my life. And I think that's
right.
Just a topic that's not as talked about, because it's like it's not the drama part of it, right? Drama sells, we all know drama sells, but like that's a really important lesson that you don't see a lot of middle school girls learning.
That's gonna be interesting. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say that's what I think will be interesting, that Marti Dumas wants to explore that more in the sequel, with like having her with LaToya. And Vanessa kind of said this was like mean girls with magic. And so like
Right.
the bullying theme was really heavy, but I think there is still a lot to learn from it without like kind of overdoing it and being able to portray it in a realistic way, because that's the hard thing sometimes. It's like, yeah, like, but like I would hope at least most people like can't really like relate to the bullies, because they're like, why do you want to be mean? Like, I just never get that. I'm like, why do you want to be mean? Like, that doesn't make me, I wouldn't feel good if I were mean. So it's hard to see it through that lens that like some people are really nasty and they thrive off of that. So
but remember, hurt people hurt people. So people who don't want to be under the microscope are very much going to be targeting anywhere else so that they're not under the microscope, which, I mean, no middle school girl wants to be under the microscope, right? Because your body's changing and, just like all of that, right? And everybody's going through that. And like, if you don't have the confidence to support those kind of changes and like the like outside support, that's how that develops. I don't think it starts from anybody wanting to be mean necessarily. I would argue that it doesn't. I would argue that it's a really poorly executed defense mechanism. That somebody else doesn't want, like the bullies don't want to be mean to people or people to be mean to them. So they're mean first, or they're in a cycle, right? Because bullying is cyclical. Abuse is cyclical. You see that. So if that's how they see their dad talking to their mom or their mom talking to them, hurt people hurt people. That's what they say in Frozen. What the trolls say.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Can learn so much from them trolls.
They'll make bad choices when they're mad or scared or stressed, but throw a little love their way and you'll bring out their best. That's what they sing in the marriage song when they're trying to marry Kristoff and Anna.
Yes. Oh.
They met her like 15 seconds ago and they're like, this is it. He brought a girl. This is finally it. But yeah, so it is going to be interesting, I feel like, to see how Marty looks through that lens and what she can do with that in the next
story. The next book,
yeah.
Yeah. It's I know I don't want to like open up a whole can of worms, but I just thought about it when Vanessa said that she bought Wildseed Witch at Barnes & Noble based on the cover. Well, guess what Barnes & Noble is doing? Pulling hardcovers from the shelves, unless they're whatever percent best-selling, this and that. And so it's like, how many people aren't going to pick up books like these and be able to pick a book based off the cover they like because Barnes & Noble said, no, you're not worth it.
Libraries. But also, that is not how I found out about this book. I found out about this book through a targeted kind of like Facebook ad. The algorithm knows my problem. So because of my phone, I am highly susceptible to clicking on things about books, apparently. If it doesn't know it, it should, because every time it shows me something about a book, I click on it. So hopefully, not that you want that to be the case, but yeah, I mean, I've been a long time not necessarily BNN supporter anyway, just because I want small business. I want independent bookstores. That's where I want to see thrive. I want the independent bookstores to serve their communities. But I like small business, right? Like that's my bread and butter. So yeah, it's not good. It's very not good. I wish I was more surprised, but once again, libraries.
Yes, that's true. And from doing my middle grade research, libraries and schools are where, most middle graders will pick up books.
Yeah.
So that's a comfort to know.
Also, with them not putting out hardcover books, not taking a chance on the newer books in hardcover unless they have a proven track record. I'm like, when I picked up this book and I started reading it, I usually take off the dust jacket to read, and I'm like, it has such a pretty cover underneath
It's so pretty. I know.
Yes.
How are you
Yes.
going to promote this? Like,
Oh, it's so
it's
beautiful.
Yeah, it is gorgeous.
You
It's
can't see mine because of the library tape, but it's there.
I see it. Oh.
gorgeous without the dust jacket and with it. And so I'm just like, no, why would you not take a chance on a book like this?
Mhm.
Yeah, like the dust jacket is beautiful, but like so is just the book itself. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Well,
is.
They also have it once they prove themselves with their paperback sales, because B&N, like, they can't dictate these people's careers. Like, they're gonna rock it with their paperbacks, and then they'll get their hardcovers and get their beautiful, I don't even know what it's called, covers,
Mhm.
It's
imprinted covers. I don't know. Oh my gosh, and the art inside. Oh my gosh.
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous book.
It is.
It's gorgeous.
So, any last minute thoughts before we wrap up our discussion?
I did
I
have.
do. Oh,
Oh, I was just going to say, I did have 2 more quotes that I really liked. I was going to share.
Yeah, go for it.
go ahead.
One is on page 309, and I think this is Grandma Emily, and she is saying, you think just going around pouring your wrongdoings on other people is going to fix what you did? It might make you feel better thinking you did something, but that's about as real as that old fake sugar. Supposed to be healthy, but that fake sweet don't do nothing but give you cancer. Learn better, do better. That's real. That's sugar cane. So whatever you got to do to clean up the mess you made, you do it, but you keep it to yourself, you hear? Not making the mess again is the best apology you can give. And so
Yeah.
I really liked how she broke that down and kind of explained, like, because sometimes we think, oh, just admitting our mistakes and telling people our mistakes and where we fell short is like doing something, but she's like, no, that's more for you than anyone. If you really want to do something and make a change, learn better, do better, and like don't make the same mistake again.
Yeah.
So it's more about action, not just saying, sorry or saying what you did wrong. And then the other one was on page 324. And this is her again. She says, that's your problem right there, Shaw. You can't make anybody happy. You're holding your feelings and you're holding magic and you're holding everything too tight. Fix yourself. And I really like that one as well because, it's a great point to point out that, we're not responsible for anyone else's happiness or feelings. Like, we can only work on ourselves. We can only, fix ourselves and work on our own happiness. We can't control other people's feelings and emotions.
Right.
I love that. Those are great quotes.
I just had a funny one. It's not like a serious quote or anything, but on page 185, when they were in the arts and architect, I guess class, and Asani says, I'm a planner. I always have been. I make lists about making lists so I can make list off my list.
Yeah.
Yes,
I've been sort of winging it.
Yeah.
That cracked me up. I was like, oh my God, that is so funny. So that was like a funny after reading some of the serious stuff that was going on.
That was a great way to end it with the funny. She's my spirit animal in that sense, for sure.
Yes.
Not mine.
Yeah, only me would do a Preptember. I was like, Preptober is not enough. I got to do Preptember too because I'm. Come to the dark side. We have cookies.
I don't think I'm the only planter in this group, am I? You guys, Teresa, you and Vanessa, do you guys plant or plot?
Plant what?
Are you
Do we what?
planters? Are you planters? Planters?
Oh,
Yeah, I am.
I'm kind of a planter, I guess.
Yeah.
Like a semi-planner. You plan a little bit, but then you never follow the plan that you originally try to plan. So
Exactly.
basically, you're a planter because you do a small little plan and then you never follow that plan. So you just end up winging it. So
Planter. Yeah. Planter.
yeah.
There you go.
I've always been, I started out younger as a pantser. I've always been a pantser when I was younger. And then as I got older, started trying to be a little bit more of a plotter. Because sometimes I get stuck in the middle. I'm like, I don't know where this is going. So I tried to start plotting more. So I guess I'm kind of in between now.
In between.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's kind of a joke because like most venues where I'm at, I'm like the only like pantser. Like I like slightly plant, like slightly. And Holly and our other mastermind group are always like, come and plan, Alicia. And I'm like,
Plan with us. So to plan, I did not plan, and because I was like, because our book club discussion was like a week later, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't start the other book yet. I don't even have the other book. So our book club pick for September is
Dauntless.
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 Yes, it is Dauntless by Elisa A. Bonin. So that will be fun. Please pick that up. I'm excited to read that, as well as in 5 days we will be voting on our spooky October reads, and I'm very excited about that because we've got lots of options that we've collected
Probably
throughout
too
the
many.
year. Yeah, too many, of course. Mhm. So please be on the lookout for that. And thank you for joining us for a fun discussion as always, and for supporting BIPOC authors. Please follow my lovely co-hosts. They are linked down below. And I think that's it. We will see you guys next month. Okay, bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye.